In the tapestry of life, where every thread holds a story, America in Black and White emerges as a haven for the voices echoing through the heart of our communities. In this podcast, we wade through the rivers of our collective experiences, celebrating the vibrant hues of change brought forth by the whispers of hope and the roars of action. It's more than just a conversation. It's a journey into the heart of our society, illuminated by the light of those daring to dream and do. Join us, and let your voice be the melody that guides us toward a dawn where every color finds its place in the masterpiece of our shared destiny. Together, let's paint a future brimming with the positives that dwell in our minds and the actions that shape our world.
Welcome home. If you're watching America in Black and White, you already know that this is not just a show, it is a movement. It is a weekly act of affirmation, a mirror held up to the genius, the grit, and the glory of a people who have never, not once in history, stopped building, stopped dreaming, and stopped rising. I'm your host, and tonight I need you to pull up a seat, grab something to snack on, and trust me, by the end of the hour, you're going to know exactly what to snack on, because we're not about to pour into you something that is going to feed you spirit as much as it feeds your ambition. We talk often on this program about Black entrepreneurship as an act of resistance. Every Black-owned business that opens its doors is a declaration. It says we're here, we're building, and we're not asking permission. When our ancestors were denied the right to own, to trade, to accumulate, they did it anyway. When the system said no, they built their own. Their tradition, that sacred, radical, beautiful tradition, is alive and well. And tonight, it is alive in Concord, North Carolina, just outside the heart of Charlotte, in the form of a gourmet popcorn company that is turning heads, turning kettles, and turning dreams into a full-blown empire. Tonight's guest represents so much of what this show is about. She is a United States veteran who traded her uniform for an apron and a business plan, who took the discipline forged in service to this country and poured it into something that belongs entirely to her family and her community. He is an entrepreneur who has refused to be anything less than extraordinary, who co-leads this company with vision, ferocity, and undeniable grace. Together, Derrick and Tavia Jackson are the co-founders of PopStarz Popcorn, a veteran, woman-owned and Black-owned gourmet popcorn company offering more than 200 handcrafted flavors to Fortune 500 companies, celebrities, the Carolina Panthers, Charlotte FC, NASCAR, and popcorn lovers nationwide. They are New Business of the Year award winners. They are community pillars. They are proof. So get ready, because this conversation is going to inspire you, challenge you, and remind you of exactly who you are and what is possible when faith, family, and flavor come together. Derrick and Tavia Jackson, welcome to America in Black and White, and let's talk. Hello, how are you all doing?
Doing absolutely amazing. How are you doing, Charles?
I'm doing just excellent. Welcome to the show. I'm glad that you guys are here. And is there anything you guys would like to say to the audience before we get into the show?
Well, first and foremost, that introduction was amazing. I'll have you follow us around everywhere we go. Just go ahead and do it in that voice that you do and make us sound amazing, because that was great. I love that. That was spectacular.
Well, I definitely appreciate that. And you know, as I said in that monologue, is that when we talk about entrepreneurship, and I know as we had the discussion before the show, I want to tell you that I think the work that you guys are doing is more than industry setting, but it sets and pave a way for people in our community to learn a great lesson from as to what to do and how to do it.
Sure, absolutely. We're looking forward to the conversation. We appreciate you having us on your show. We don't take it lightly when someone asks us to speak because we don't know the folks in the audience. We'd love to get to know the folks in the audience, but we don't know the folks in the audience, what they're facing. So our prayer tonight is just that something that we say tonight or today or whenever you listen to the replay connects with you and inspires you to do something maybe you didn't do before or the day before.
So what I like to do is when I start, as we get into the show, I like to go with the part where I call the life story and origins. And therefore, I like to get the audience the opportunity to get to learn about the two of you, you know, as to what you were doing before you got to be the great people that you are now as a leader in the community. Let me start with you, Derrick, if you would, please. Take us back. And where did you grow up and what shaped the man you became?
Oh, wow. Okay. So we jumping right into it. All right. So I am from the Washington, D.C. area. Originally, I'm a DMV kid. And I was born at Andrews Air Force Base. So my mom was in the Air Force Academy. And so Northern Virginia is where they still call home to this day. So when we go and visit them and you know, they come see us a lot of times because we have the grandkids. But the humble beginnings, I guess, would just be, I knew there was a whole world out there. I don't know where, maybe I saw National Geographic or something. I was like, man, this is bigger than my neighborhood. I want to see the world. I want to see everything. And I remember, and I told the story a couple of times that, you know, they went around the room when kids were in grade school and they'd say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And little Johnny said, I want to be a fireman. I want to go put out fires and stuff. Oh, girl. And, you know, oh, I want to be a policeman. Or the little girl said, I want to be the first woman president of the United States. They called on little Derrick, and Derrick said, I want to be Batman. And I was dead serious. Because what I knew about Batman is that he was crazy wealthy as Bruce Wayne, and he helped people when nobody was looking. And so I don't need the credit for it, but we want to just make sure that we're making a lasting impact with whatever we put our hands to. And so that's kind of where things started. Some of those moments that really formed us was finding a mentor. That was huge. Finding someone that I could turn my brain off and turn theirs on, because it's so much safer to walk through a minefield after someone else has already gone through it. Right? You could blow some stuff up now. So it's great to follow behind someone and just step where they stepped, you know, then have their advice prior to making decisions, because experience is an expensive teacher, you know, your own experience. And so I would say that would be one of the real pivotal moments, because that showed me how to build a business, but it also showed me how to build a life, right? And a lot of other things that came along with that, but I'm sure we'll get into it. Maybe.
So Tavia, tell us, what is your earliest memory that tells you who you were destined to be?
What a great question. So I think one of my earliest memories that told me who I was supposed to be is I was in 7th grade. And it was the day where it was parent-teacher orientation at the beginning of the school year, when the parents go, you know, visit each class and meet the teacher and know right before the school year where their kids will be. And my science teacher, Mr. Floyd, he lost his voice and he was hoarse. And he said to me, Tavia, I'm hoarse. Can you walk the parents through the introduction for the year? And I just said, sure, okay. And I don't know what he handed me, but whatever it was, I walked every parent through the introduction for what it was history, for what history was going to be like for 7th grade. And I didn't think anything of it. And when I came back to school the next day, Mr. Floyd said, you really have a gift. Like, you were amazing, and like, don't ever forget it. And that was the first time that anyone had said anything about me speaking or talking, or that I had a gift. And I was in 7th grade.
Wow. So this is for both of you all. So how did the two of you meet? When did you know you were building a life together and eventually a business together?
I'll start with when did we meet? So we both were high school seniors, and we went to visit Elon University in North Carolina, it's near Burlington, on the same weekend. So they had this weekend called Black Awareness Weekend because Elon was like 97% white and 3% all other everything else. Everything else
all
was in
the
that 3%. Any brown, anything, any drip was in the 3%. And so we went, and that weekend you stayed for the weekend with another African American student. And so I went, and he happened to go the same weekend. And on the Sunday, the very last day, when your parents were coming to pick you up from the weekend, they had a choir concert. Well, the young lady I stayed with, she was in the choir. She played the bass, actually. And the person he stayed with, the gentleman, he was in the choir. So they came early, and Derrick and I are sitting in this massive auditorium. All the other people helping her on stage, we're the only two people there early because we came with our mentors. And he came and sat beside me and said, "Is anybody sitting here?" And I was like, "No." And we had so many things in common. It was just crazy. And so we both wound up coming to Elon when the fall came, and we became best friends first. And then later we dated. And 7 years from the day we met, we got married.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. See, that's wonderful. That's that college experience for you. That sets the tone.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You're finding yourself when you leave home, and you're figuring out who you are. So in that whole process of figuring out who I was, it was unique that I was able to find the love of my life. And so you mentioned that she's a veteran. So Tavia's a United States Marine Corps veteran. So that's not the lightweight. That's the real deal. So she was being activated. This is like Desert Storm, Iraqi Freedom that time.
Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Operation Iraqi Freedom, and had orders to go overseas. And I said, oh, this just got real. It's one thing if you're in the military. It's a whole other thing you're in the military. You're going to actually doing military things overseas. And so I knew she was the one. And I don't think that sped up the timeline, but it was definitely a line drawn in the sand where, okay, are you going to grow up, man up, or are you going to, you're going to be the boyfriend, or, and so I made a decision. I was going to propose. If she's going overseas, I want every foreigner over there to know she with me.
Well, I'll tell you this, we do have that one thing in common because I'm a Navy veteran.
Okay.
And so I understand your plight. And when you talk about Desert Storm, I was actually stationed at NAS Cecil Field down in Jacksonville, Florida, when I had to bring back several hundreds of veterans, not veterans, but reservists back for active duty. That was a big operation for a short period of time.
We appreciate your service, sir.
Yes,
How many years did you serve?
10 years too many. 10 years too many.
You signed the contract, brother.
It was good. I fulfilled my contract, but it's good that for the people that I met, it was really wonderful because it taught me a whole lot.
Sure.
So Tavia, tell us this. What did your military service teach you about discipline, sacrifice, and leadership that you still apply every single day?
Mm-hmm. So I was a disciplined person. I thought I was when I joined the Marine Corps. But when you realize that no matter how bad you're itching, you better not touch that nose, you better not scratch that itch. That's all. It was a whole different product, a whole different level of discipline. So it definitely helped me maximize the discipline that I thought I had, so that I could be even more focused and even more resolute, and even more, when you make a decision, you can stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to leadership, I believe the Marine Corps helped us to learn how to lead. Like, we believe in mission accomplishment, but we also believe in troop welfare. So, though the Marine Corps is hardcore, and, we all know that, though the Marine Corps is hardcore, the two values are still accomplishing the mission and caring about the troops.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think it continued to ingrain in me that even though I'm very disciplined and we're going to accomplish the goal, we'll run through the tape, we'll do what is necessary. It's still important to make sure that the welfare of myself, my husband, and the people that are walking alongside of us to accomplish things are doing all right.
So, as a woman entrepreneur, what internal battles have you had to win before the external ones?
Mm-hmm. So for me, internal battles, one was the fear. Like, am I good enough? Will this work? Will I be embarrassed? What if it fails?
Yeah.
Like all of those thoughts, I call them dissuasion. So dissuasion are like paradigms, like beliefs and lids that limit our trajectory of accomplishing our goals and dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember one day I just had to be honest with myself. Like, Tavia, you're not moving at the pace you want to because you're afraid. I was like, okay, what am I afraid of? Let me address it. Even when we started PopStarz, one day in the kitchen, I said, before we sign this paperwork, I just have a question. Like, are you scared? Because I'm scared. And Derrick was like, I mean, yeah, I feel it, but we're destined to do this. We have favors. So we feel the fear and we do it anyway. And so that some of the internal battles was addressing, I'll tell you what happened. Also, the company I worked for one day was being shut down by the federal government, right? I found out on the news, Charles, on the news.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so a little bit of time went by, and one day I was asleep and I was waking up and I just kept hearing, serve more people, serve more people, serve more people. And I jumped out of bed and I stood at attention and I said, what people? I was like, I am serving people. And then what I heard back was, yeah, on a pygmy level. Like, you serve people on just a small enough level that you don't charge people for the level of transformation that you provide for them. You are serving people just on a small enough level that you didn't have a website, that you don't even tell people really what you do. Everybody was just coming from word of mouth. And so I was like, touche, Lord, you didn't have to come for your girl like that this morning. I just woke up. But but I asked the Lord, what do you want me to do? And at that time, he said coaching and teaching and speaking. And so I said, yes, sir. And so the internal battle for me was that I had to address that I was building things small and so small that I didn't have to address my internal battles. I didn't have to address my fear. I didn't have to address the fear of visibility or what will happen or what if it fails. And so when I decided to take the emergency brake off and go all in, that's when everything started shifting on the outside.
Wow. See, now, as you guys are doing this as a couple, which I think really is something that we need to shed a big light on. What are some words of encouragement or some just some advice you can give some other couples or just other entrepreneurs, that as they get into this situation, what should they expect and what should they be doing?
For me, much of, because we've done leadership development in the past, we've spoken publicly together from stages in front of thousands. We've done a lot of things together. I would say that it's a dance, and so you got to know when to lead and when not to lead. You don't always have to be the lead. You don't have to be lead. I've told folks that my ideal ideal job vocation is trophy husband. I don't have to be the one charging the battlefield every single time, slaying the dragons. Like, we got a powerhouse sitting right next to me. This is Tavia Jax Inc. You know what I'm saying? Transformational life coach, published author, keynote speaker. She's phenomenal. She in her own right, So to be a good steward of what God entrusted me with, I think that's the biggest part of it. So I don't want to be in competition with her. I want to be a compliment to her. I want to figure out how I can make life easier. How many people think like that, right? So how can I make life easier for you? Because, it can be difficult. It can be stressful. It can be those things. And I don't always get it right, and she doesn't always get it right, but there's always room for us to grow.
Wow. So this question is for both of you guys. What was the aha moment that said popcorn is the vehicle for this family's legacy?
So popcorn is a vehicle because we got income streams. We got some streams now. Them streams are streaming. But I'll say I'll take you back to the beginning. So in 2018, I had played around with the idea of being able to start a popcorn business. One, because I was riding all around the place finding the best popcorn for this lovely young lady right here. She loves popcorn, and so I was going all over the place to find the best. And so I thought I had found the best, and I got into a conversation with the folks there. I said, oh, okay, that's something I could, table for now. I don't think now's the right timing for it, but good to know, put it in the back of my mind. You flash forward to 2020. So you've got the pandemic, right? Turmoil, racial turmoil, health crisis, everyone's segregated from themselves, for lack of better words, and not just in my city, the whole world was disjointed for a moment, for a season. And we've always learned that, no action is a decision as well. And we decided that we would be a part of the solution. Everyone lost, not everyone, a lot of people lost folks close to them that time. A lot of folks lost jobs. A lot of folks, it was a really, really upheaval of what we knew life to be. And so popcorn was the vehicle for us to bring joy back to the world, for people, for families to have better memories and new experiences that weren't tied to such negativity, political, stress and strain, and nobody's trusting anybody. It's like, well, we're sitting around talking and about times gone by that were a lot more positive, and popcorn was always present. So you're thinking about, okay, well, you got family movie night. Yeah, popcorn was there. Oh, well, the circus. Oh, popcorn was there. Parade. So we went to the game that one time when we all had the jerseys on. Popcorn was there. And we realized that it was, we know it is America's favorite snack food, but it's a nice to have. If they got popcorn, we're gonna get it. But what we decided to do was to bring popcorn from the background to the foreground and make it a must-have. And so that's the origin story of PopStarz Popcorn. We went to our children to talk through the idea, because we want them to be involved in entrepreneurship from at least a knowledge perspective and a wisdom perspective. So this is a family decision. So I want to make sure that you guys know your voice is heard. This is what it's going to cost us to do some of the things that we're going to do. We're going to have to forego a couple things for a season in order to stand the foundations of this thing up. And tell the kids, we don't know what the response is going to be. And the middle, our daughter, she turns and says, well, that makes sense, because the baby, Creed, he was born on National Popcorn Day.
Oh, wow.
I said,
and he was only 8 months old at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, National Popcorn Day, the Popcorn Baby.
Which is January 19th. So I know folks will probably jumping on Google now. What is National Popcorn Day? So it's January 19th. And so you look at that, and what we accepted it as was confirmation, because we had prayed about it. We had talked to our covering and our mentors about taking possible steps towards this retail brick and mortar aspect of entrepreneurship. We weren't strangers to building businesses, but they were more service based, if you will. And so this was going to be a product based business. And so I asked the folks that I knew were going to be negative, because I was established enough in myself to know it wasn't going to sway me, but I wanted to get what their perspective was so I could go ahead and get all my negative out all at the same time. Go ahead and I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? Okay, what else? What else? Do you leave anything out? Oh, okay. Now, good. Now we can run. because I'm gonna hear everything I'm gonna hear right from you right now, and then we're just gonna go ahead and run, and then we'll talk about it later when it's done. But we've chose to model ourselves after the winners, the people who are successful, the people who are victorious, the people who, don't take no for an answer. We actually were talking, we were at a conference today, and I was talking with some folks, and I said, I'll be the little shot to keep shooting. I don't have to be the big shot, but this goes back to those turning moments in your life. Like, I don't have to be the guy that's always in the front and everything, but our impact will be felt. Our impact will be felt.
So were there any doubts or fears when you decided to launch PopStarz Popcorn in 2021 in the middle of a global pandemic?
Oh my! Oh, absolutely yes, absolutely yes. You want to? I'll start, and she might have some things on there, but I mean, so we're starting a business that offers a lot of flavors of popcorn, and we're giving individuals the opportunity to taste the popcorn before they buy the popcorn. Well, if you remember, everyone's socially distanced, and we're all wearing masks.
True.
So, are they going to really come in this store and pull down their mask and sample popcorn, or are they just going to look at us like, I didn't know what was going to take place. We did the best marketing we knew how, and said we hope the community receives us. But we were so focused on the advantages during that time because there was a lot of vacant space that was going for cheap. And so you could lock in long-term contracts with places as far as real estate was concerned. Material goods and stuff like that, there were shortages on some things, but because we offer so many flavors of popcorn, if one ingredient goes missing, it's not going to shake the ship. So, but we didn't know. And so we decided to open May of 2021. And that was a whirlwind to get staff trained to help people. We still trying to figure out what to do. This is what you're going to say when they ask you this. And that first day, the line went down the sidewalk for hours. It was wrapped. It was like a roller coaster line. It was wrapped around different things in the store, but it was probably about 10 people at least on the other side of the counter. It was things going everywhere, but we had a great time. And it was a very profitable day, but it was a good opportunity to know that we were well received. To go back to your pandemic thought, I knew it was going to be successful when about a month in, there's two families in, because it's the popcorn store. So everyone wants to come check out the new popcorn store and bring all their family members. And so your family comes in town and they come to the popcorn. And there's a gentleman in there. I mean, keep in mind, this is George Floyd time. This is bad stuff is happening out there, and it's being put in front of us daily in the media. And I'm in the store, and it's a Caucasian family and a Black family, and everyone's got masks on, and so they pull their masks down, they taste the flavor and stuff like that, and everybody's real reserved and everything. And gentleman tasted one of our flavors, and we'll get into some of the flavors and stuff like that. He tasted one of the flavors, and he said, "OMG, this is amazing. He said, he pulled his mask down, went over to the Caucasian gentleman, and said, "Sir, I know our country is completely divided right now. I know you don't know me from Adam. I know we're in a global pandemic and I'm already too close to you, but you gotta try this. You gotta this. And the guy tried it and bought a bag. I said, this is what we started for. This is how we reunite people. It's through the love of popcorn, but it represents so much more than that. This is bigger than popcorn. This is joy. This is family. This is guilt-free rewards. This is fun. This is, what I'm saying? So this is us bringing America's favorite snack food to the forefront in a way that we do it, because it's swaggy, it's sassy, it's a lot of fun what we do and the way we do it. So that's my pandemic story. Was there apprehension? For sure, but I think we had enough of a vision to say that if it don't work this way, we'll tweak a couple things, but it's going to work.
Right.
So So can you tell us what did your family think when you told them you were launching a gourmet popcorn company?
My father's an entrepreneur and he's owned businesses since I was a child. He's been on the cover of Black Enterprise. So it wasn't my first business. It was probably my third at the time. Um, he thought, go ahead. It's in you. Like, you need my help. So that's what my family thought. And everybody else was just excited.
Mhm. Um, I got a lot of questions, but it were a lot of practical questions because they didn't understand. So my goal was to help them understand, not necessarily to join in forces or anything like that, but once they understood, they were able to get behind it and support us. And so we've been incredibly blessed by both sides of the family, and they are some of our greatest ambassadors and lead to business and everything else, but it's just we have a really, really special family.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the thing that excited me the most is when we first connected on LinkedIn and you told me about popcorn. Now, actually, I had to let that sit because I'm like, popcorn. And so when I actually, when you sent your website, I went over and I looked and I'm like, okay. But then the thing that got me is you guys got like all these flavors of popcorn. I'm like, wait a minute, popcorn doing all this. So, I got to tell you, when I went to your site, and I'm sure that for the folk that have gotten information to go to your site, that has got to be the most exciting thing in the world. How did you come up with that many flavors of popcorn?
And
I
so
mean, that in itself is the whole creativity.
we gonna always add with this melanin, it's gonna have a little funk to it. It's gonna be a little different. So what we realize is that there's nothing really new under the sun. Everything's been attempted at some point in time. But if we can pull all those recipes together and pool our resources on how to pull it off and do it the best way possible, and employ food scientists and people who know that industry, that work behind the scenes in our kitchens, and staff the people to give the customer service experience and that PopStarz experience, that star powered experience that we want people to have, then it makes the flavors pop even more, pun intended.
Right.
Because you can have, let's say, I don't know, strawberry cheesecake popcorn, right? You can
Okay.
have strawberry cheesecake popcorn, but if I give it to you and my face looks like this, you want some popcorn? You want some popcorn? Well, we used to call it. So we're in the Charlotte metropolitan area, and we used to call it Melpia, and so we'd be like, "Welcome to Walmart, Melpia." And but if we can a world-class experience along, then what we're talking about is where gourmet meets greatness. And this is the smallest bag size we have. We did 100 of these delivered today for Chase Bank because they're doing a grand opening, and we did custom labels. But the sizes and the flavors, we can go as far as a person wants to go. We've narrowed it down, so 200 flavors is the capability. We've narrowed it down to about the top 60, which is still a lot, right? It's more popcorn than you could probably eat in a lifetime. But each one of those flavors connects with a person individually, and it ties to some of their emotional nostalgic experiences with popcorn. And it changes the whole view and perspective on being a popcorn lover.
So walk us through the very first day you opened your doors. What did that feel like emotionally, physically, and spiritually?
For me, the first day that we like on our grand opening day, I would say, I cried. I cried multiple times because I was so grateful. Like, people came from all over, like people that we hadn't seen in a decade heard that we were starting a business, and they stopped what they were doing, drove all the way to North Carolina to come to our grand opening. It was so beautiful. Friends, family members, people that we knew, people we didn't know. So many people shared it in their neighborhood groups, and I was so grateful. Like Marine Corps friends, college friends, like people from all of our journeys of life traveled from all over to come and participate in that day. Spiritually, we had already prayed, we had already covered the location, we had anointed with oil. So we felt ready, and we felt like we knew our spiritual assignment. And then physically, we were tired.
Imagine.
I've been working, building everything, getting the store built out, ordering products, supplies, all of the things to get a business up and running. But we still had energy and zeal and strength. So we had all of that working at the same time.
Let's transition over and talk a little bit about building PopStarz popcorn. You now offer over 200 unique flavors. How did you develop your flavor catalog, and what does the creation process actually looks like?
Sure. Great question. So we just recently refined to make things even more simple for our customer experience. And so the easiest way to look at it is that we have 2 flavor categories. So everything is either savory or it's sweet. Okay. So savory is going to be everything buttery, everything spicy, everything cheesy, everything garlicky, everything. Oh yeah, it gets fun. So that savory section is it's going to be lighter typically, but we got dill pickle, we have a loaded baked potato, Nashville hot chicken, buffalo ranch, cheddar jalapeno. We have one called Bang Bang, which kind of puts you in the space of like Bang Bang shrimp. We do a hot honey. We just started doing that one. We're still rolling flavors out. So since we talked last, we rolled out hot honey.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then for the sweet category, you have, as simple as caramel, which is, a lot of down home favorites. But we get complex, and we get the Fruity Pebbles and Lucky Charms and that strawberry cheesecake that I just showed you. We have that cheese and caramel blend, which we call the Concord combo. Anybody from Chicago say they're going to call it the Chicago mix. And I say, yeah, when we get to Chicago, we'll call it whatever you want to call it. But you in Concord, we're going to call it the Concord combo. And so that's what we do is we take the handcrafted caramel, we roll it in cheddar, and then we put extreme cheese on a separate kernel. So it's super sweet and savory at the same time, bursting with flavor. But we also get into the far nether regions of like exclusivity, and we have banana pudding with vanilla wafers in it. We have red velvet. We have lemon pound cake, cookies and cream. We have a chocolate drizzle over caramel with mixed nuts in there called Bear Crunch. It goes on and on and on. It really, really does. How we refine that category, those categories down to the ones that move. You look at the statistical data on what's generating things. Some of it was just like, we just need to change the name of it. And I think people will buy it because it just dulls when you start mentioning some of those whoa dessert flavors and things of that sort. But the people will tell you. The people will let you know real fast. You take that off the shelf, you're gonna have to answer to me. So I love the fact that we can cater to the public and personalize and customize and make the experience super unique and bespoke to the person, because that's what makes us us. That's why our adage is snack like a star. You've been snacking, but now it's time to snack like a star, because we want you to feel like when you taste this popcorn that we thought of you when we made this popcorn.
So what does handcrafted in small batches mean to your brand identity and your promise to every customer?
So what that means is everything is made by someone at every step of the process. So there's no machines outside of the popping of things and the mixing of things. There's a person operating everything in smaller batches. So you're not going to have mass quantities of really, really cheap ingredients and just doing volume. We spare no expense as far as our ingredients are concerned. The vanilla that's used in our caramel is imported from Madagascar. Our sea salt is going to come from England. We are going to the farthest reach to make sure that we're getting exactly what we need on every single kernel, so that you have the experience that you need.
So, tell us about your Concord, North Carolina showroom. What is the experience like when someone walks into the store for the first time?
It's so funny. That's a great question. A lot of people, it depends on who they are. I've had people walk in the showroom and start dancing. We have people walk in the showroom and they're like, oh my gosh, like people told me that it was amazing, but we had no idea there was this much popcorn. A lot of people say, we've never seen this much popcorn in one place. And so there's so many things that people are excited. And when everybody walks in, we always say, welcome to PopStarz. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing greeting. And because we want them to feel and be honored and recognized as the star that they are in their own right. So first they come in and they feel the energy, and then they're going to look and choose what samples that they would like. Hey, what do you want to try? And it's just a fun experience. There's music going on in the store. We have a wheel. They can spin the wheel and land on prizes, and they can play games and win popcorn. We have a beautiful photo op board that wall that was hand painted by Derrick and some of our staff that people take pictures behind. And the staff is just top tier, one of a kind. So people have beautiful, wonderful, wonderful nostalgic experiences that make them want to come back. So people love the popcorn, but people also come back time and time again because of the experience and because of the staff.
So how did you land Fortune 500 companies, the Panthers, Charlotte FC, and NASCAR as clients? Walk us through one of those relationships.
Sure. So a good lesson that I can kind of insert here is that you start with what you have. Right. And so we had a lot of high schools local to us. And what we decided was that we would market to some of those athletic directors and roll out popcorn in their colors of their organizations and of their schools. And they would sell those at the concession stands at the games. And so a lot of different high schools around us jumped on board. One of the local high schools wasn't able to match the price point that they get the butter popcorn from, but they did get cotton candy. And one of the gentlemen on the PTSO board said, you know what, I like what you guys are doing. I want to come by the store and check this out and up in person, because I heard some great things about it. I want to come see it for myself. And he came by and he bought $200 worth of popcorn. I said, man, we appreciate it. That's awesome. And he said, yeah, I'm going to take it down to Bank of America Stadium. I was like, that's cool. How you going to do that? And he was like, well, he just said, I work with David Tepper, who's the owner of the Panthers and the Charlotte Football Club. So I didn't know this was like his right-hand man. This is the guy on the PTSO board of the high school, but his daughter was going to school there. And so he bought $200 worth of popcorn, took it down there, came back, bought $250 worth of popcorn, and said they love it. We can get you in the room, but we can't keep you there. We can get a conversation going. I said, man, I've been doing that my whole life. You get that door open, we in there like swimwear. And so we were able to broker a relationship, our 4th month in business, to have our popcorn carried in the all-inclusive suites at Bank of America Stadium with the Panthers and the Charlotte Football Club. And they would pick the flavors based on the demographic of the club. Some of the clubs are a little bit older in demographic, and they would pick the flavors accordingly. Some of them were more club vibe, and so they had more candied flavors and things of that nature. So that was phenomenal. We still, this past year, we did the Christmas lighting. We've done that every single year for them with our holiday flavors, because we have like white chocolate peppermint and snickerdoodle and hot cocoa, all on popcorn, eggnog. So those different flavors, and they get excited about that. And so we were able to support them this past year with the Christmas lighting. And then we also did the Panthers made the playoffs this year, by the skin of their teeth, but they made the playoffs this year. And so we did the wild card game as well. We did a custom logo on top of there. That was the, working back and forth with the marketing team at Bank of America Stadium with the Panthers. They created a special logo that they weren't going to roll out until the week of the event, but we got it early so that we could put it on the popcorn so they could have it at the games.
Wow. Man, you know what? I'm so happy and proud of you guys because, I think when you take something like this that may have been tried before, but you guys had a different spin on it, a more creative spin, to basically make it so creative that it's just hard to ignore. And look at where you guys are going now. I mean, as they say, look at God.
Look at him where he is. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it. And then as far as like some of because we're pop stars, so you'll see us a lot of celebrity spaces for Fantasia. So we did the after party for The Color Purple. So she had her own private after party, purple lights in the club, whole full band. I mean, it was phenomenal how they decorated everything. And so I met a friend of them, and he was heading to their daughter's birthday party. I said, take some popcorn over there. We shooting our shot, and just give it to him for the birthday party. It's a pool party. Just let them eat the popcorn. Don't ask them nothing. Don't say nothing. Just let them know where you got it from if they ask. And I made a mix in the store that same day, which was grape ice, blackberry, and champagne. And so that became the mix for The Color Purple. And we did it in a purple organza bag with the movie title custom logo on the front. And, you had Thomas Davis in there, No Limit Larry, all these different, Brownstone, everyone's eating the popcorn, CeeLo Green's in there eating the popcorn and stuff like that. And just phenomenal experience. And so we were able to do CeeLo's birthday party after that. Did some stuff with Steve Harvey, his golf tournament, and his boys and girls camps. And just lots of different local athletes and folks that want to be a part of what we're doing, which is exciting.
So what has winning new business of the year from the Carapace County Chamber of Commerce meant to you, your team, and your family?
It felt like we were accepted by the community because so the votes from that came from outside of our county. So it wasn't a popularity contest on who does what. It was based on your ideals and based on your growth and your revenue and a lot of other different factors, but it was from a third party outside of our county. And so for them to choose us, said, oh, this is more like national recognition than it is local recognition. We'll take the local recognition all day long because we were surprised. And they came and shot a whole thing on us, and we've been on the news and different things. But yeah, it was like the nation's taking attention, and they're responding to what doing this. It's reflected in a county award, but all of the people who weighed in on the award, the judges, they came from all over the country, from the hospitality and tourism industry.
Oh wow! So let's move down here. Let's talk a little bit about leadership and entrepreneurship. How do you define leadership as a married couple who also happen to be running a business together?
So leadership, I would say, one, it starts with yourself. If you have difficulty doing the basic disciplines of a job, a business might not be for you. But I would say leadership is the courage to stand alone with the vision of the direction that you would love for other people to go. That would just be off the top of the cuff for me.
So for us, even being married and in business, we had to define who was leading what. Because like in a typical household, in a Christian household, people are like, oh, the husband is the head of the house, the husband leads, the husband leads. But when you're in business together and you lead different functions, you don't defer like, oh, everything that has to do with the business because you're my husband, you're my business partner, that you're, the final decision maker. So instead of having those old ideals try to be in our business, we just decided with our mentor, okay, who leads this and who leads that.
Yeah.
The thing that you lead, that's the thing that you're the primary person for. And so we just figured out where our space was and where our roles are. And ironically, we really like doing two different things and we're gifted at two different things. So that really helped out a lot. But one, it is what parts are you leading when you're in business and you're married, understanding that and that being in an agreement and knowing what that looks like for each person. So it's like when you play volleyball and you have a position, but somebody keeps running all over your place and swinging and hitting, running into people. That's when people aren't staying in their lane. And so we communicated to figure out what our lanes were and where those places were, so that we could have those lines and we always honor and respect each other and are able to communicate and discuss those things. But I think leadership is also understanding the alignment and knowing who's leading what.
For sure.
I think that right there, that's a put a pin in it moment right there, because I think as the two of you just defined this, it shows that there's true teamsmanship here, and that you guys work together in conjunction as one. Can you please tell some of these other young folk out here that are trying to create businesses, especially when they are married, what is the one thing or the two things that they should be thinking about primarily as they work together and be a team and not I?
For me, the first thing that I would say is to have a structure of support. Mm-hmm. It was so awesome, like to have a mentor, and he asked us the questions. Okay, what do you do? What do you do? How is it divided? Or the level of accountability. So one of the things when you're married is that like we are accountable to each other and we hold each other accountable for certain things, but there's a certain space where there's somebody else that you should have as accountability for a couple. And so it's always been important to us to have those leaders and mentors and coaches in our lives, and the support. People only see from their lens. Like that's why you can't even see your own nose. Like you need support. Like there's people that can see what you can't see. Yeah. And so that it would be number one. And number two, I would say, is to both be willing to grow and develop. So I'm so appreciative. Like when I was dating Derrick, like he would read books and I would read books, but to have a husband that's like, hey babe, can we read the 5 love languages? You're like, sure. Hey, can we read his needs, her needs? Sure. Hey, can we read Sure. And to have both people have to be interested in learning and developing, because unless you grow, you stagnant. You become stagnant. And anything that stays still a long time starts to stink. And so even in marriage, we have to be intentional about our growth, make a decision to grow, to be on the same page and to stay in alignment.
Wow. I'm sure that somebody out there more than gets the understanding of what you're just saying, because that was really powerful. And I appreciate you for putting that out there, because that's got to help some of these other people that try so hard, but they struggle when it comes to working together, and it don't have to be that way. Yeah. What does healthy disagreement look like? Hello?
Oh, one thing too. So that I do know couples that they look at us and they're like, I would never be in business with them. Never in a million years. And that's cool. That's what they do. But we loved each other, but we also had kingdom this kingdom connection, we also had this whole different level of competence when it comes to business and this connection. I definitely recommend the people to marry somebody that they would feel comfortable like standing back to back in the trenches with, regardless of what their talents are. But yeah, for us, when we it is more than love. I literally asked God, I'm great. He's great. We're going to do great things in our life no matter what. What do you want us to do together? And what's the benefit of us being married for the purpose of this earth?
You got to make another one of those little things, little what's that cliche statements that you put out? Because that right there, that's everything right there. That right there is business. That's business.
Yeah.
What does healthy disagreement look like between you two as co-founders, and how do you resolve it before it becomes something bigger?
I'm trying to think what because Tavia is our CEO of our organization. If I could put a title to mine, excuse me, I'm gonna take a little commercial break, and then we'll go ahead and pop open some PopStarz popcorn as I answer this question. But I'm like innovation and growth strategy, and so and sales and marketing, and so I have teams that I delegate to, but I answer to the CEO, and I'm totally okay with that because everyone needs accountability. And so she knows enough about me to know that I'm super spontaneous, and I'll be like, boom, this is what we're doing it now. And she'll say, that's great, have you considered this, and this? And it's like, as opposed to saying, nope, don't do that, it's like, okay, let's consider the best way forward and stuff like that. And that works better. So we figured out how to communicate with each other, so that it is constructive and not destructive.
And I think healthy disagreement also looks like there's certain things that is not worth it. Like, are you willing to fall on your sword for that? Or is it like, you know what, I have a differing opinion, but if that's what you love, go for it. So that's one thing. The other thing is that we also know how we receive information best. So my husband receives information best through comedy. So so if I want to be like, something that I would like to say about something, I may make a joke about it. Like, that was so hilarious. That was funny, Derrick. You did this. That's funny. And he's like, laugh. And like, yeah, I'm going to do it different next time. But I think it's important to know your spouse, to know how they receive information best, and to communicate with them that way, and to communicate through the lens of love and kindness. When you have a shared vision, when we know, babe, we both have this same goal in mind, we both want this common vision and this common dream, then it shapes how you interact with one another, because we both are in a path to win. And we know that we both have each other's interest at heart. So when it comes to disagreements, one, we communicate in love. For me, I think about the things and weigh them out to decide, is this worth it? And then 3, I decide how I'm going to say it. And I want to say it in love. I want to say it in a way the person can receive it. I want to sandwich it with some praise. Man, I really appreciate that you even took time to think through this. That was amazing, because I didn't have capacity or time to do it. And then you may share, I was thinking based on our vision, what if we tweaked it this way? And another compliment. Thank you for killing it. Thank you for putting the time in. Thank you for building the team around to even help solve this thing. It went really, really well.
So, Tavia, what does it mean to you to be a woman entrepreneur in the food and beverage industry, a space that has not always made room for us?
Well, I'm a Marine, so it's not strange to me to be in spaces that people like me aren't normally. Like, to be top in my class, to be running my 3-mile PFT with the male Marine recruits. Like, it's I'm good with it. Like, I'm fine being a part of the few, the proud, even more proud and even more brave. To me, I appreciate challenge, I value it, and I'm here for it.
Wow. Again, I think you, by having that experience, especially going through the Marine Corps, that makes you special anyway. And that's for anybody outside that don't know what that really is like, but to actually experience it. And I gotta say, as you being the first female entrepreneur that's from the Marine Corps that's been on this show, makes it even better. But I gotta say, shout out to you for being that strong individual, because you gotta be strong to make it through that. And you've proven that.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Um, Derrick, how has your identity shaped your leadership style at PopStarz Popcorn? And do you ever draw directly on strategy in your business decisions?
My everything is around strategy for my business decisions, because we it's like knowing where you want to go and leaving yourself a trail of breadcrumbs back to this moment. So our vision for the future is clear, and we're continually clarifying it, all the way down to what countries we're going to be in. The business platform without us. This is global. Like this is not a mom and pop operation. It was never intended to be. When God handed it to us, I said, "Oh, this is gonna be big. It's big, bigger than the people I know today. Big." But I would say I am, and so I have a history of being a musician and being an artist and all these different little paths that have led up to this. And so I draw a lot on innovation and creativity, that to solve problems that have not been solved, I can't use the same mind that creates those problems. So we have to look at situations and scenarios in non-traditional ways to be able to bring about results, whether it's packaging, whether that's who we decide to hire, whether that's making a decision that we ain't doing this no more. We're not doing fundraising anymore. Let Double Good do the fundraising. We're going to do this, because a lot of figuring out who we are is figuring out who we're not. And when you're starting a business and people start waving money around, you be like, yeah, I do that too. I do that. I do that too. But that's that to me. So this is my growth. I would always say yes because I'm from DC. So that hustle, that grind it was embedded, but to scale, hustlers don't scale. Hustlers hustle. Hustling makes you exhausted. And so to be a rested entrepreneur, innovation tells me to delegate. Information tells me to staff my weaknesses. I don't like it. I'm never going to like it. Get someone else to do it. Free up your time to go be in your zone of genius. But also, so there is a level of the hustle that still stays in there, because I'm not going to sit there and wait for you to answer me about whether or not this is going to be great popcorn for your organization. We're going to sow a seed, and we're going to go to the next row. We're going to sow a seed, and we're going to go to the next row and sow a seed and go. And we got so much seed out there that these orders come in from, hey, Levine Children's Hospital, we're doing a summer carnival. How did you even hear about us? Well, oh, that was a seed. You heard about me because of a seed that I planted with someone else years ago. Tavia's got folks coming to the store and be like, your wife did a master class and she mentioned the popcorn and we gave away the prize of the popcorn. And the lady said, I already bought the popcorn. Before I got the prize, I already bought. But seeds is what we continually sow. And so being patient in that and being voracious in that. So not being patient in how fast the harvest comes, but being voracious in how much systematic seed we can get around.
So, what principles from your faith actively guide the way you lead your business and treat your team?
Sowing and reaping is where we just left off. So the cool part about that is it says in due season you will reap. So DUE. But before there's a due season, there's a due season, and you got the DO, right? And so faith with no action is dead. So we have always put action to our faith.
For me, some of the spiritual principles is that as an entrepreneur and knowing other entrepreneurs, like I would hear people complaining about, oh, you can't find good employees. Oh, this is hard to find, or things like that. And I made a decision because there is no lack in God. And so instead of agreeing with people that go down the lack and deficiency bunny trail, I know that God is full of abundance. And so I made a decision that I live in God's abundant universe, and he created all of these things for us to thrive, and that he gave us the power to get wealth so that he could establish his covenant. So before I used to feel like, oh, I had to pray hard, like, oh God, can you please help me be wealthy? Like, help me, I need this money. And he's like, you don't even have to need it. I'm trying to establish my covenant on this earth. That's why I gave you the power to do it. It's about me.
Mm-hmm.
Would you just come into alignment, come into agreement, spend time with me and hear from me, and then I will give you the instructions. And so some of the other spiritual principles is literally hearing from God. So he gives us the power to create wealth, and he leads us to profit. So in Isaiah, it talks about the Lord will lead you to profit and teach you in the way that you should go. But a lot of people aren't willing to be taught, and they don't sit at the feet of the Father enough to get the instructions every day. But every day he would lead us in the way we should go. So we realized we can wake up in the morning and ask for guidance, or do our vision together and create and generate our state and the atmosphere that we want our day to be in, and get instructions from God every day. So people can create wealth every day.
So let's talk a little bit about community engagement and the impact. How does PopStarz Popcorn actively give back to Concord and Charlotte communities, and what does that look like on the ground?
So our most recent give back was we just held a block party to celebrate our fifth year anniversary. And so the block party was equipped with bounce houses and a coloring station for the kids and a Frisbee golf station so you can learn how to play Frisbee golf, and face painting and temporary tattoos. And the local law enforcement was out, as well as the fire engines and station. And I mean, Walmart was out. A whole bunch of folks came out to help us support and just give back to the community. We had coolers of free drinks everywhere. Just come get a beverage, man. You don't have to go buy no popcorn, no purchase required. We just wanted to reintroduce ourselves to the community and create new experiences and better memories for families.
Mm-hmm. And we support countless charities.
Yeah.
Like there probably isn't a month that goes by that we're not supporting a charity, whether that's connected to college scholarships, whether it's connected to kids learning how to read, or having after school programs, or getting medical attention, or helping moms that want to have babies. Like every month we are supporting nonprofits.
So what does being a Black-owned business in the Charlotte metro area mean to the local community, and what responsibilities do you feel because of it?
For me, I learn it every single time we go out and we meet people and interact with them, because we don't always like lead as the popcorn people per se. It's cool when they know you as that before you say anything. Hey, it's the popcorn people. It's funny. But I feel the weight of it when I talk to our youngest customers and our oldest customers. So our youngest customers are typically like 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. And it blows their mind. The flavors blow their mind. But then when they see us behind it, it's exciting to them in a way that it's like, we can do that? This is something that's possible? And then when you meet someone who survived the civil rights struggle and they look at you and they tear up and say, this is what we fought for. I mean, the weight of that, like, we don't take it lightly. This is what we do. This is what we do. We are game changers in this space. This is just what we've been given, the tools we've been given to change the game, and let people know that they can do it too in their chosen field of endeavor, whatever that is.
So, have you created employment or economic opportunity programs in your community? And what does that aspect of the business mean to you?
So we have somewhere, usually it's between 12 and 14 people that are on staff. And those are folks from a variety of different walks of life, different situations, not to get into everybody's details, but they need a shot, they need a chance. And so being able to give that chance and that opportunity to people makes a huge, huge difference in who we are, because that's just who we are. We were the folks that in our starter home, we invited a family of 5 that had fallen on hard times to come live with us. And that house did not fit us, more or less 5 more people, right? But it was just what needed to be done in the moment. It's always the right time to do the right thing. So, so I would say that we definitely have programs that we involve with job and workforce agencies and things of that sort, and college and career fairs, and we're all out there. We definitely are.
I want to give you guys a shout out for for being community leaders, and establishing something like what you guys are establishing in the communities is definitely what's needed, and we need a whole lot more of that. And I'm sure that the Charlotte metro area has more than got its knowledge that you guys are there, and you guys are going to keep going. So that's setting a standard that I think everybody needs to pick up on.
Right.
Can you tell us, what does buying Black mean to you personally, and how do you encourage your customers to think about their spending as an act of community investment?
Mm-hmm. So for me, buying Black is supporting our community. Like my trainer, for example, Sonia D, she has a whole line of natural products. And so I buy my soap from her. I buy certain cleansers from her. I buy things from her. Like if I can get that from her, I'm like, hey, let me support you. 1, you have the knowledge. 2, I know it's an amazing, pure product. So there's so many people that are living their dream, and they're called to help and support people. And when we consider them and invest in them, it helps people. So it's beautiful that people will walk in our store and be like, literally open the door. And mind you, we do have employees of multiple races. Walk in the door, ask the white people, is this Black owned? I mean, it tickles me every time. I mean, it's hilarious. Like, y'all just walk right on in here and just ask them that right to their face. And so they'll be like, yes, ma'am, it is. The owner's like here, actually, or the owners are right there on the wall, But it's funny, but people literally also come out and support. And we appreciate it. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the consistency. Even Caucasian people that support, I have had people of other races say, hey, we understand the value of this. We want to support. And we appreciate that as well.
Let's move over here to your Black history influences. When I spoke to you on the phone, you told me that Bob Johnson and Kathy Hughes were the most influential people in your life and career. Can you tell us, Bob Johnson became the first African-American billionaire by getting on Black culture through BET. What does his legacy mean to you as Black entrepreneurship in building a different industry, but with the same audacity?
So entertainment, education, and empowerment is what they are. And I had the opportunity to meet Kathy as well as Bob through the National Association of Black-owned Broadcasters, because I was interested in media and did undergraduate research on Black radio. And I think that was my opportunity to learn what I didn't know, because you can know like the highlights, but to know like the struggle, then the victory is a whole other story. So to me, that same responsibility and that same weight, that's a shared weight. That's not just a Derrick and Tavia weight. That's a weight for anyone who strives and aspires to be more. So they stand out to me as living, breathing examples. I mean, you can go through, Black History Month, I feel like we should just add days for every individual we add. It'd be the longest month as opposed to the shortest month of the year, because when you look at Black accomplishments and the significance of the Black impact in every stratosphere of our life, it's there. We don't need to just talk about it in 1 month. We but it's just making sure that we know that we're playing a part in it now. Like, we're making popcorn, but we're also making history.
How does Bob Johnson's story of building BET from a single idea with limited resources and unlimited vision inspire the way you have built PopStarz Popcorn from the ground up?
So with BET, so I knew BET when BET was in Washington, D.C. And that was about all it was. It wasn't nowhere else. It wasn't no movies, no films, barely music videos, and Teen Summit. And so it molded me. It definitely molded me as far as understanding the impact on culture and helping to define a generation. And so if I could walk through that minefield after someone else, I'm looking for opportunities that we could do the same here in this consumer packaged goods space, where we can define a culture and we can bring about things that have never been thought of and never been done before, all through the love of popcorn.
Kathy Hughes fought 32 bank rejections before a single institution agreed to fund her radio station. Does that story resonate with your own experience seeking capital, and how did you refuse to stop?
If I don't even look at rejection as rejection, I look at brick walls as breakthrough, because that's what it is, right? There's victory on the other side of it. And so if it's not going to be that, it's going to be something else, and it's going to be something better. So that's one of the things we say between each other is this or something greater still. And so until the greater still is revealed, we become rich by overcoming rejection. That's just part of the process. So being able to separate, being able to understand where we stop and the business starts, and where the business stops and where we start, has been very, very key over these last couple of years. But I think that's part of the process. Does it hurt? Minimally, temporarily, but again, lots of seed in the ground. It's something good coming right around the corner. Sometimes the same day.
Yep, and I would love to get an answer from both you guys for this question here. Kathy Hughes was the first African American woman to chair a publicly traded corporation. Tavia, as a woman entrepreneur, what does her blueprint mean to you? And how has her example shaped your own leadership walk?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. So for me, I think that the resolute heart and mentality that a woman has is seen on the outside. Like, she carries it on the inside and she carries that identity, but we get to see the fruit of it. We get to see the manifestation of it. Mm-hmm. And to see that journey and to know that, I compare it to Noah's Ark when God said it's going to rain, and they had never seen rain. They had never seen rain. And for God to tell somebody to build a boat, and you built a boat for years and nobody's ever seen rain, they're like, man, you crazy. So imagine somebody like her saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And people be like, man, we ain't never seen nobody do that. You crazy. You should just stop right now, you know? And so to know that her overcoming created victories for so many other people, it's just beautiful, and we honor it.
You know, I think just as in, you know, with her sitting on those boards and then wanting to come out and create not only to have her own radio station, but how she did with TV1 and so forth. I mean, there's a lot of tenacity there, but also it's the idea that the things that she had to do to fight through so many things to even get this accomplished. So to think about all of those no's and the barriers that they put before her, just think about this. And if you would answer this from a female perspective, you know, primarily because, you know, I mean, kind of like when I see things like that, it kind of like sets, it's on the billboard. It's for the billboard because she pushed through and she was able to make this. You guys together are doing this, but you're the CEO and you guys are pushing through. How do you make your story, as in this company, be one of those that's going to be legendary in that fact that's going to last forever and ever as a legacy?
That's a great question, Charles. And to me, I think we have the responsibility to take the necessary actions, to invest in ourselves, to be able to grow to that level, to continue to set an example and create victories as such. So for me, it's one, knowing, not expecting things to just fall all the time in your lap. It is an intentional thing. It's intentional. And so for us, success is not just a reward. Success is our responsibility.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. And so it is our responsibility to do the needful, to do the necessary, to make the investments, to grow, to learn, to overcome, to be disciplined, because it's not just a reward for us. It's literally our responsibility. And even in that responsibility, people also get to see God. Like if somebody's broke, busted, and disgusted, people don't come to them and say, man, I want to know your Jesus.
I'm sorry, but I just got that visual.
That part, like they be like, bro, he not helping you out. He ain't gonna help me out, you know? And so a part of our responsibility is to continue to make Jesus famous. And by doing our part and being disciplined and stepping and living by faith and living by the real principles of the word is how we do that.
So can you tell us what is the through line between what Bob Johnson and Kathy Hughes built in media and what are you building in the food and beverage space? Is there a common thread in what it takes to build Black-owned institutions that last?
I would say so. You know, as we wrap this up, I want to make sure that we drop, you know, the nuggets in there as well. I would say that difference makers are different, and you don't look up one day and say, "Look, I created a legacy."
Mm-hmm.
It's daily decisions and daily disciplines and daily character that those come from. And so I like to say that we're on the same path as those moguls. You know, like I said, the greater the struggle, the greater the victory. And you know, I can't say I was homeless like Kathy Hughes, but what I can say is that there has been struggle. And they say the struggle is real, but my God is realer. So, you know, victory is on the other side. So I see us as victorious, just like all the greats, right? And so we're just waiting for the income to catch up.
So if Bob Johnson and Kathy Hughes were sitting in this interview with you today, what would you want them to know about PopStarz Popcorn, and what would you ask them?
Well, first I'd give them a bag. So I'd be like, okay, you saw the little bags. Here go a big bag. You look like you got a big appetite for success. So you have to have a whole lot of it. But I think I would just pick their brain and just see who they are as people. you know. Um, One thing that I do know is that when you're used to the limelight or in the limelight, you feel like you always have to be on. I like to get to know the people when they don't have to be on, you know. Not saying it's a different person, but I value those experiences. I value that texture of that conversation, the richness of it. So that's what I would glean the most from.
So let's this last part here. Let's talk about your vision, expansion, and the future.
Sure.
Where do you see Pop Stars Popcorn in 5 years, nationally, globally, in terms of the product lines, community impact, and the legacy you're actively building right now?
Nationally, household name. I'm gonna keep it brief. Nationally, household name. Uh, Internationally, in hotels and resorts worldwide, employing people in countries and continents of Africa and places where popcorn is not really a main thing, but we're gonna make it a main thing. When you look at the global footprint of popcorn right now, I mean, it's already, I think, $3 billion and growing. Um, Ready to eat popcorn, but most of that is going to be the United States. And the farther you get from the United States, the more that number goes down. But corn can grow just about anywhere, can't it? And so there's ways that we can change whole economic systems with what we're doing. But if you found us in the United States, once you travel overseas, you're gonna find us there too. So it'll be succinct, and it'll be brilliant, and it'll be legacy.
Last question.
Sure.
What is the one thing, the single most important thing you want every person watching American Black and White today to remember about Derrick and Tavia Jackson and Pop Stars Popcorn?
What's that? Number one, snack like a star. You're gonna snack on something. Lord knows you're gonna put a potato chip or something in your mouth. But we have America's favorite snack food. It's old as pastime. It's more American than baseball. It's more American than apple pie. And we're here for the long haul, and you can be a part of the journey. So whether it's an order you place, or it's a gift you give, or it's a company that you support, every little bit matters. And so we just appreciate you for being a part of our story. And the bigger we build this, we want to know yours as well. So if you have a pop star story that you'd like to let us know about, you can find us on social media at PopStarz Popcorn _ for IG and on every other thing. And you can just contact us through the website. We got emails. We're easy to reach, not easy to reach, but we're reachable. We're reachable, and we want you to know that we believe that together this whole thing works, and you are a part of that together.
So, in closing, what are do you have any words of wisdom or encouragement you'd like to leave for the audience, as well as tell them how to connect with you via social media, website, whatever, as to Pop Stars Popcorn?
So have the courage to be different. Difference makers are different. A lot of times you may feel isolated or alone. A lot of times that's setting the foundation for leadership. Not that you're supposed to be alone, but sometimes you're pulled away so that you can hear the voice of the Father clearly, because he's got specific instructions for you and not for everybody. If it was for everybody, he'd yell at you in an amphitheater and everybody would go do the same thing. But that one thing that you're called to do that scares you, the dream that's so big that it shakes you, that's probably what it is. So give it a little bit more time, give it a little bit more thought. If you think it, ink it, because you don't want to forget it. A short pencil goes a lot farther than a short memory any day. And leaders develop daily, not in a day. So take strides every single day to live the life that you really want to live. Not the one that you're going to settle for, but the life you really want to live, because it could totally happen at any stage of your life.
Absolutely. And I would just say, dare to dream. Like, get out of your comfort zone, because your comfort zone is your failure zone. And if everywhere that you are in your life, in your job, in your profession, in your relationships, you're doing the same thing every day, you're not stretching, you're not growing, that becomes a comfort zone. But you're designed to keep growing and to keep stretching. So I would just encourage everybody to dare to dream, and to remember that the books you read and the 5 people that you hang around with the most are going to determine where you are the next 5 years in your life. So choose wisely.
So as I'm gonna close with this monologue, but before I close, I want to just ask you guys, after I close the show, do you have a few minutes to hang around?
Yeah, a few. We got to jump on. Yeah,
I have to go.
Yeah. I'm good.
And so, just in closing, for those of you that have been watching, I appreciate you for spending this time with us. Also, to learn more and how to connect with PopStarz Popcorn, please go to the YouTube channel, America in Black and White, and you will be able to read not just about this episode, but you will find the contact information there, as well as go to the blog, Changing Trends and Times, and read the article that has been posted about PopStarz Popcorn, and it does have the contact information. In closing, what you just witnessed was not just an interview. This was a testimony. Derrick and Tavia Jackson came into this space and reminded every single one of us what it looks like when faith meets strategy, when love meets enterprise, when a veteran's discipline meets a woman's vision, and when 2 people decide together that their family's name will mean something long after they're gone. PopStarz Popcorn is not just about popcorn. It never was. It is about proving that Black people can build brands that stand in rooms we never ever were invited to, Fortune 500 boardrooms, professional sports arenas, celebrity celebrations, and belong there completely. It is about proving that what was forged in service to this country can be redirected into service to community. It is about proving that a woman's leadership is not an asterisk, it's a cornerstone. I need you to think about Bob Johnson, who built BET, and nothing but belief and vision of what Black audiences deserve. I need you to think about Kathy Hughes, who heard No 30 2 times, and on the 33rd, changed the landscape of American radio, and then American media itself. These giants did not wait for permission. They did not shrink when the doors were closed. They built their own doors, and right now in Concord, North Carolina, Derrick and Tavia Jackson are building theirs. One handcrafted small batch, utterly extraordinary kernel at a time. That lineage is unbroken. That fire has not gone out. It is being passed right now through every Black entrepreneur who watches this show and says, if they can do it, so can I. So here's your call to action, and I mean this with everything in me. Go to popstars.com, order something, give something, invest in something stop by their showroom in Concord, North Carolina. Show up for Derrick and Tavia the way they have shown up for this community, for this culture, and for this movement, because supporting a Black-owned business is not charity. It is a choice to build generational wealth together. It is a choice to say that Black excellence deserves our dollars, our loyalty, and our loud, unshamed celebration. From America in Black and White, I'm your host, and I will see you next time. Until then, stay rooted, stay rising, and always snack like a star. You guys have a great evening. We will see you guys tomorrow on Changing Trends and Times at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host, Charles King. You guys have a great evening.